All right, guys. So tonight, what we're going to do is we are going to do a live mock client appointment. And I asked for a guinea pig, somebody that I've never met. Here she is. Her name is Emma. She's been with us. Emma, you can unmute yourself, girl, because we're going to be talking all night.
Hi
Um,
guys.
hey, how long have you been with us now, Emma?
Just a few days,
Okay,
but
so
I want to give Serena kudos because she was the one that told me about this whole company. But go ahead, finish your thought. I was
yeah,
gonna let you finish.
I appreciate that. But so Emma and I have never met. This is not staged. I gave her zero instructions other than be honest when I ask you questions.
Yeah,
That
I'm kidding.
was So that's what we're going to do tonight. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what a client appointment is going to look like, what I want you to help it look like, right? And I want you to see that the beginning of a client appointment is nearly identical to what you guys sat through when you were recruited, because the beginning of the appointment is supposed to look like that, right? And the more comfortable that you get doing interviews, the more comfortable you will become in the beginning of a client appointment. There are a few tweaks, right? There are a few tweaks, but overall, almost the same, right? So we'll pretend that Emma is, Serena's client, and she's here for Serena's training, right? And so that's sort of like the scenario, that's the setup. And so here we go. So, hey, Emma, great to meet you. Thanks for sitting down tonight and helping Serena get some training in. Has Serena told you really a whole lot about what she's doing, or did she say just jump on? I got to get some training.
She told me a brief interview, not interview, but brief introduction, and she gave me some videos to look at, and I saw them, and I was just like, I totally need this, and I don't know where else to go. Can you
Okay.
show me some new things?
Yeah, awesome. So you know what she's doing, right? So you know it's life insurance, you know there's
Hmm.
investment, you do a little bit of home and auto, so a little bit of that.
Yes.
I'm going to run you through all of that tonight and probably give you a little bit more in depth, in detail, maybe a little bit better explanation because Serena's still pretty new. But
Yeah.
at the end, we're going to walk you through everything, right? Like, have you ever sat down with anybody and talked about life insurance or investments or financial planning, anything like that?
I have with Farmer Bureau and State Farm, but they made it very confusing and just a lot of loose ends.
Okay. Do you have current life insurance or investments or anything?
I have auto insurance with Farmer Bureau, and I have Blue Cross Blue Shield for medical insurance, but honestly, it's starting to get a little too expensive and a little too demanding also.
Okay. So, but no life insurance specifically, no investment.
Mm,
No plan. Okay.
nope. I need that for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I was literally just getting ready to say, so like, as we go through this tonight, right, everything that we're going to do is like potentially we can help you with. And if you're open to it, we can knock it out tonight. Super simple. Okay.
Perfect.
But really, the most important thing, other than taking care of you tonight, is making sure that you know so much more about what Serena's doing because we are a referral-based business, right? And so if it makes sense for you, you probably know 5 or 10 other people that this would make sense for. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, hey, Emma, are you on your phone tonight?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Sorry for the background. My boyfriend's
Oh,
gaming stuff.
yeah, you're good. When I hit the
Yes.
screen share in a second, it might make sense to turn your phone landscape. It'll fill up the screen better, okay?
Alrighty.
Perfect.
Let me do that.
Yeah, let me pull this up and let me know when you see the blue screen.
I see the blue screen.
Perfect. Awesome. So, Emma, I own my brokerage and I work for a company called Primerica Financial. Have you ever heard of Primerica before you met Serena?
I've heard it through the grapevine, but didn't know if it was legitimate or just a scam.
Yeah,
So
no, that's okay. That's what a lot of people say. Honestly, most people say they've never even heard of us at all. But if I say like a good neighbor, Emma, you'd say what?
State Farm is there.
Yeah, everybody gets that one right, you know? And they all get it right, Emma, because State Farm spends about $1 billion a year or so to make sure you know that, right?
Or Affleck.
Yeah, all of them. I mean, we don't have a duck, there's no Flo, there's no Jake, there's no Lizard, right? But check this out. We're the largest independent financial services marketing firm in North America.
What?
Huge, right? And we've been in business since 1977, almost 40 over 48 years. Most people just never heard of us. But we're actually publicly traded, right? Like we're so big now. We've been public for 15 years. You could buy shares of Primerica stock on the New York Stock Exchange anywhere you want, right? PRI is the stock ticker. The company's worth somewhere around 9 to 10 billion dollars, depending on the market. Huge.
Wow.
Yeah. We used to be owned by Citibank. Have you ever heard of Citi before? CI?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so Citibank owned us from like 1990 to about 2010. And you might be too young, but do you remember the housing market crashed in 2000?
Yeah, like 2008, 2009.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Well, Citi was one of those companies that was too big to fail, and they took on billions in bailout money from the government, right? And at the time, that was our parent company. And so when our parent company took on billions in bailout money, went into a ton of debt, we said, this isn't for us because look, part of our mission is teaching families how to be debt free. And so we wanted no part of that. And that's when we became our own company. We started at like $10 a share and took off, right? We're close to $300 a share now. It's just a
That's
huge
insane.
growth story. Yeah, I know it's massive. And in reality, we're just a massive brokerage, right? We have almost 3 million investment clients, about
Wow.
6 million life insurance clients. We do pretty much everything that you could possibly imagine that a client's money could touch, right?
Yes.
Look at all of these companies.
Holy crap.
It's a lot, right? So what I
More
want,
than I can count.
I know. Well, what I want you to think about in the future is like right here where it says Primerica, like that's where Serena's should be because really she's your access point to everything that we could possibly do. Because even if she's not licensed for it, she can get you connected to somebody who is, right?
Hmm.
So look at all the things we do. Life insurance is important. It's the one thing with our name on it, right? So Primerica Life. But we also do investments. You probably recognize some of these random investment names down here, like Fidelity or Lincoln or Bright House or Equitable. Like you've probably heard,
Mule. Yeah.
yeah. So we can use any of those like any of those for our clients. Those are all of our wholesalers. We also do mortgages, right? Rocket Mortgage works with us. Have you heard of Rocket before?
Uh, Not really.
That's okay. They're pretty big, right? They're pretty big. But we also do home, auto, and small business insurance, Emma, because I mean, let's be honest, who doesn't want to save money on like home and auto?
I have actually a question, both
Yeah.
as a client. I'm starting a small baking business. Could that insure me?
You're starting a small baking business? Potentially, yeah. So we do small business insurance. So if you needed some sort of like a general liability insurance, we could absolutely do that for you.
Awesome. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. It's pretty simple. These guys over here at Answer Financial, they handle auto, they handle home, renters, and small business insurance. It's pretty cool.
Sweet.
Yeah. We also do wills and trust powers of attorney with Legal Shield, and then identity theft usually goes along with that. Then the last piece, right? Have you ever had any sort of like home security or smart home system set up before?
I'm planning on it since I just recently bought my first home, so I think that
Well,
would be perfect.
heck yeah. I mean, right now there's a great deal going on, whereas if you buy any camera, we'll give you a free like pro doorbell and your first 4 months of coverage are free.
Oh, that's so perfect. I can't wait.
Right. So all you have to do is call somebody. They'll like explain all of the process to you. Just make sure you use Serena's discount code so you get the best deal. Sound good?
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell everybody about this.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's gonna be awesome. So here, let me jump back over here and we'll kind of walk through this some more. I'll explain a little bit more about the company, okay? So like I said, we have millions of clients, like investment clients, life insurance clients, all over the place. Companies won a ton of awards over the last few years, right? Most trusted life insurance, most trusted financial company. Those are from Investors Business. Have you heard of Forbes magazine, Emma?
Not really, no.
That's okay. Forbes is sort of like you've heard of People magazine.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I read
Forbes,
it all the time.
yeah, it's sort of like People magazine, but for money. It's kind of a big deal, right? And so Forbes last year gave us some great awards. We were best in insurance, best in diversity in the workplace, and then best in the workplace for women, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Over half of our agents are female.
Well, maybe I should consider being an agent.
You never know, right? You never know. So Emma, check this out. Here's the mission for the company, right? Our whole goal is to make families more money. We want families to earn more income, right? Whether that's anybody coming over here and getting a license and doing this, or if we improve your investments and help you make more money, or even just save you more money, as long as you have more money, that's a good thing, right?
Money is always good.
More money is good. And then along the way, proper protection. That's the right amount of life insurance for where somebody's at in their current stage of life, right? And then debt-free, pretty self-explanatory there. We don't want any of our clients in debt. We teach them really simple principles like Dave Ramsey would teach. Have you ever heard of him? He's kind of old. I mean, maybe not.
Actually, off client as being off client, but also in reality, my boyfriend's mom works for Dave Ramsey. So
Really? Well, I
mhm.
would hope you'd heard of him then.
He is really big here in Tennessee. So
Big time. Yeah, no, he's sort of like the guru about like no debt, hates credit cards, right? We teach the exact same principles that Dave would teach because the
right.
ultimate goal is to have our clients become financially independent.
I want to be that plus being able to make money and not try to be impulsive. So maybe hopefully this can help me too.
I think it could, yeah. Because I mean, let's be honest. Like if you came over here and wanted to make an extra like 500 bucks a month, that'd be like you helping like one client a month. Pretty
Heck
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, you could do that, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, hey, I mean, Emma, for you right now, like outside of yourselves, like who's managing your guys' money?
Usually it's my boyfriend or just here and there, but usually it's self. But I just need a little guides for my boyfriend, since he usually does a lot of the money stuff.
Yeah,
But we usually team up together as partners to do that.
that's good. So you guys, I mean, you guys are handling it yourselves, right? That's pretty common.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Do either of you guys have any sort of background like in personal finance and money and that sort of thing?
Um, my parents actually have a multi-million dollar business
Very cool.
called Keto Bakes. I
Nice.
recommend looking that up. And anybody who's listening in, please look at that up because it's delicious. It's keto, it's clean. But in the first year alone, when we first started in 2020, we made over $1 million in sales. By
Great.
year two, we made 4 or 5 million. So
Heck yeah, that's a growth story of its own. I like that. So, like right now for you guys, like outside of work, right? Like outside of your work, your boyfriend's work, who's handling all of your guys' financial planning, life insurance, investments, those sorts of things?
usually our insurance companies. So
So like, so you, but I thought we said you guys don't have life insurance.
no, like auto and home insurance I meant, but not life. I don't personally, I don't have life insurance, but I think my boyfriend does. I don't know.
Yeah.
If not, then I'm gonna try to get him enrolled.
Okay. Does he have anything like outside of work, or is it just something that he has through work?
I think it's something through work.
Okay. So we always advise clients that you should have private life insurance. Like whatever you have at work is great, right? Keep it, it's free or so it's cheap, right? But you should always have something outside of work because, I mean, let's be honest, Emma, is he going to work there forever?
No, and he needs stuff to cover his asset
Yeah.
and that.
So like if he's not going to work there forever, then one of those benefits, right? When he leaves there, they're probably going to what, go with him or they're going to stay at the job?
They're probably gonna go with once he's done. Everything else is done too.
Yeah, yeah, it's all done, right? Like as soon as he's done with the job, he leaves those things behind. And so
Yeah.
that's why we always advise clients that you should have something that goes with you no matter what, right? So what I'd like to do tonight is kind of give you an idea of what that would look like for you. Is that fair?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, let's finish this up really quick. So guys, pause. So what did I do? Right? I identified that she has no life insurance. Her boyfriend, if he has any, only has it at work. They don't have a financial planner. And I also just planted the seed that I want to show her what that looks like. I asked her if she was open to it, and she said yes. So now I know that when I finish this, when I transition to the quote and the shoebox close to get an idea of what makes sense for her, she's already open to it, right? There's
And you
never,
ask open any questions as well.
yeah, there's not going to be this awkward stage, right? And so Emma, and then back to the script, right? Cut scene. Okay. So, Emma, what we really do for clients is we teach people how money works because you said it yourself, right? Like you guys don't have a personal background in money and finance. When was the last time you had any sort of like financial education or training for yourself?
Probably when I was living with my mom way back when, but
Long time.
not since then. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Probably high school.
Maybe, yeah. For most people, it's like one class they had randomly in high school. So if we could show you how some of that works, that would be helpful, right? Yeah. So, Emma, what we actually do with clients is we do this thing called the financial needs analysis. We're not going to do it tonight, right? Like, it takes a little while, and we need a lot of data. But if you're open to it, we sit down and we'll go through everything. And the cool thing about the financial needs analysis, Emma, is that it's sort of like a GPS or like a roadmap for your money. And
Kind of like navigation.
yeah, in reality, it's just like a fancy name for a plan because we all know that having a plan is better than not having a plan, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, think about it, Emma. Like, if I gave you the address to the office down in Tampa, because that's where we are, because you're in South Carolina?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Oh, yeah. You just said that. So, if you were going to drive down to me in Tennessee, it'd probably be like a what, 12-hour drive?
Give or take, if but I don't know truth where to go.
Yeah. Well, I know. But if I gave you the address, what are you going to do with it for the first time before you come down?
Plug in navigation and see where it goes.
Amen, right? You're going to put a slap into your GPS. You're going to see where the blue line takes you, and you're going to follow that plan. And what's crazy, Emma, is that most people would plan for like that 1 day road trip. They're going to make a plan, right? They're going to put in the GPS. They're going to see where they're going to go. They're going to map it out. But most people don't have a plan for their money for the rest of their lives. Like Emma, do you and your boyfriend have a plan for the next 30, 40, 50 years of your money?
We would have a retirement plan and 401k, if that sounds familiar to you.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm totally familiar with a 401k, but like do you know how much money it's going to take you to retire? Do you know exactly what you're planning to do to get there, right? Do you have steps to take along the way?
We've contacted our bank to set every paycheck we make, which is bi-weekly, since we are both in a way first responders in ways, um, to set every like a set amount each month or each paycheck goes immediately to the 401k and retirement.
Awesome. So you do have a plan of some sort.
Hmm.
That's way better
Of
than
some sort, but not fully.
yeah. So do you know exactly how much it's going to take for you to retire?
Probably about give or take 60 to 75 thousand dollars, maybe more, give or take. If
I would argue it's going to take a whole lot more than that, but
maybe more. I don't exactly know.
yeah, so
But
we call that your financial independence number, right? So most people, when they do this financial plan, Emma, we like the industry charges somewhere between $2,000 and $6,000 for this plan.
oh wow.
Yeah, because what we're going to do is we're going to sit down and we're going to look at your life insurance. We're going to look at your old retirement plans if you have them, because a lot of people, they've worked in a few jobs and they leave their retirement plans at each job. So I say, look, let me help you get back in control of all the money and put you back in control of that money, right? Like, let's go get it because you shouldn't leave your money out there. I mean, it's yours, but we should go get that money. Then we're going to take a look at your debt, like if you're dealing with any debt problems, and we're going to put a huge plan together for you. And if we get back together and it makes sense, well, great. Like, let's do it. And then I would ask you for 5 to 10 referrals at least, right? That's the only thing I'd ever ask you for. Because the plan is not free, it's complimentary, if that makes sense. Because if it
Yeah,
was free, you wouldn't really care about it, right?
right.
Yeah. And conversely, like if we get back together and the plan makes no sense and you can't save any money and it doesn't, it's just not something you would want to do, well, I would never ask you to like send me some referrals, okay? But
Uh,
let's do this really quick. Let's jump over and let's figure out how much you're actually going to need when it comes to retirement. Okay. Let's
I sure would need that.
yeah, let's figure out what your financial independence number is. Okay. Let me close my door just a second. There we go. So let me pull this up and then the only thing I'll ask you for is your name and birthday and we'll get this thing going. Okay. So what I'm about to pull up is what we call our mobile FNA. And what that is the shortened and condensed version of that full financial needs analysis. Okay.
Okay, dokie.
Yeah, pretty simple. So in about 5 minutes, I'm going to tell you how much it's going to take for you guys to retire. And I promise you it's not 60 grand. All right. So Emma, this little cool chart right here is what we call decreasing responsibility. Right. Like right now, how old are you?
I like real life or in this script
Oh,
reasonings.
like for real, like how old are you?
I'll be 24 in August.
Okay, so you're 24. So you barely made it onto the chart, right? So if you think about ages on the x-axis down here, this is like 25 to 75. That's like your real adult life, right? And then right in the middle is 50. So you're barely here. And so we would say that your need for insurance, life insurance, is really, really high because your assets and your money are generally very, very low because you haven't had time for them to build and grow. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's kind of like the stock market slash real estate market right now, in a way.
Yeah, kind of. But we
Girl,
would say
stop.
like as you get older, right? As you hit like 50, 60, your assets, like your money should be way up here and
Right.
your liability should be way down here because think about it. 30, 35 years from now, Emma, if you have kids, they're going to be grown. If you had a mortgage, it's gone, right? You don't really have any debt probably at that point. And so we would say that your need for life insurance follows this blue line. It's way down here because your assets are way up here, right? It's
Correct.
a totally different thing. So on this side, we make sure you have the right amount of life insurance, and we make sure that you start investing now and start paying yourself now, so that by the time you get over here, you have what you need to be financially independent. Okay. All right. So let's pull this up really quick. You're in Tennessee.
Hmm.
Miss Emma Potterbaum. Emma, what is your birthday?
Yes.
Yeah, what is it? What was your birthday?
August 5th, 2001. So,
August
any
5th.
August babies, comment down below.
There we go. No, I like that. And then what was your boyfriend's name?
Aaron, August 19th. There you go.
19th. And then what year?
his his last name isn't Potterbaum.
That's
That's
okay. What's
but
it?
he is October 11th, 1998. Oh my
10, 11, 98. And then what was his last name?
Grims.
Got it.
Oh,
Okay.
Grims. It's a Goo. Sorry.
Oh, I'll fix it. Broom. I got you. That's important, but we're good. We're good. All right. So the retirement age, right? Default retirement age is 67. So this is basing it off of your boyfriend because he's a little bit older. So we've got 41 years until average retirement age. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's figure out your income really quick. Emma, what do you make roughly a month?
Gosh, like paycheck wise,
Yeah.
probably about just a little under 2,450 dollars.
Okay. So we'll make it nice and round. We'll say 2,400. And then what about Aaron? About the same?
He makes probably like $3 more than me, so maybe
Okay.
four.
So probably about 2,800, right?
Yeah,
Somewhere in there. That's fine.
give or take.
Okay. So right now, you guys are making roughly 5,200 a month. We would say in retirement, you're going to need about 80% of that every month when you retire to retire and not change your lifestyle. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. But check this out. 41 years from now, Emma, that $4,000 a month, it's going to take
Mhm.
it's going to take almost $14,000 a month at just 3% inflation to do the same.
That's insane.
So this is the number that we have to plan off of, or you're going to run out of money. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So here's your financial independence number. It's a couple more dollars than 60 grand, right? Just a couple, just a couple. So from now on, Emma, when somebody asks you, when are you going to retire? I want you to say 3.1.
I think that's well rounded.
Yeah, 3.1. Because if I handed you $3.1 million right now in a briefcase and I said, listen, I will give you this money if I show you how to live off of roughly 4% of the money or less, and you'll never outlive it.
I would definitely sign up for that.
Yeah, that's financial independence. Because at that point, you don't have to trade time for money. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. So that's your financial independence number, right? What we just did right there would take other companies probably 4 to 6 weeks, and they charge you a few $1,000s to do that.
Absolutely.
It's kind of
Coming
crazy.
from the company I work for, I that is very much so true.
Yeah. Because you know what the best part about our financial needs analysis is, Emma?
What's up?
We do it for free.
And that's a miracle and a half.
Yeah, we do. It's a price nobody's ever cried about. You know what I'm saying? So let's figure out how you're looking towards your financial independence number. So you said you and your boyfriend both have a 401k. Do
Yes.
you
And
know roughly how much is in there right now?
oh gosh, I don't have access to seeing that.
Oh, okay.
I
You should.
I should, but it's a very small company, so I'm not sure. I don't know. You would I gosh. I would have to ask my boyfriend what he does. You might have to guesstimate for mine since truthfully I don't know.
That's okay. How long have you been putting into it?
Pretty much every paycheck for the past almost 4.5, almost 5 months.
Okay. And then 4.5, 5 months, we would
Yes.
say, let's see, 2,400. Are you getting a 3% match?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So you've been putting in about 144 bucks a month for 5 months. So it's about 700. Do you know roughly what he would have?
I can ask him if you'd like.
I mean, I mean, this is for funsies, right? You can just guess.
Uh, Probably like 200 or so. Plus, he does credit card stuff since he's trying to build credit
Okay.
currently.
So let's just say there's about 3 grand in there and that you guys are putting in about 300 a month between what you put in and what your company's put in. Is that pretty fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're putting in 150 and they're matching, so like yeah, that would work. So check it out. Just that and just that 300 a month is going to become about 1.2 million.
Shoot, I need that.
40 years, right? Don't stop. Don't stop. So here's where you stand, but that's where we need to be to hit that financial independence number. So right now, Emma, you're at 300 a month between you and your companies, you, your boyfriend, and the company's matching. You need to be at about 800. So if I could show you a way to make the extra 500 a month, it's probably way easier to make extra 500 than it is to save 500 more out of what you're already doing, right?
Yes,
Yeah. So like I said before, you get a license and help about one client a month, you could probably make that extra 500 pretty easy.
I need that, and I'm sure a lot of people here do too.
A lot of people do, right? So that's where we are on your financial independence number. But let's talk about life insurance really quick. Emma, life insurance is super important because even if I started you investing right now, we started maxing that out, but I lost you or your boyfriend 6 months from now, that extra couple of grand in that investment account isn't going to do us any good. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here's what the system shows us. And this is at a 12x income multiple. So, I mean, even if we drop this down to like a nice round 10, you guys should both have somewhere between 250 and 350,000 in coverage, give or take, right? Because think about it. Like if you lost your boyfriend right now, you guys just bought a house, would you be able to maintain all of the household bills, pay the mortgage, pay everything without his income?
Absolutely not.
Right. And most people can't. And that's the most important thing about life insurance. It's income replacement, immediate income replacement, right? So that's about where we would land. And you said you guys have never actually like quoted life insurance before, right?
I don't think so, no.
That's okay. I'm gonna quote you live really quick so you can kind of see it. I just gotta change screens really quick. But Emma, for you guys, you said you guys get paid bi-weekly, so you get paid every
Yes.
2 weeks. Okay. If you were gonna take a little bit out of each paycheck, and I know you're already doing it for your investments, if we were gonna take a little bit more out and we were gonna put money in for life insurance and maybe start saving a little bit more money, how much extra do you guys think you could carve out of those checks every 2 weeks? An extra 50,
Probably like
100,
400, maybe 300 to 400.
between the two of you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we can make that work. So as long as, I mean, in reality, so as long as I can show you something inside of that range when it comes to your life insurance, that would make a lot of sense, right?
Absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, yeah, you're good. You're good. So let me pull this up. So if I was going to give you, because we said what, somewhere between 250 and 300,000 is about where
Hmm.
you should be. If I was going to quote you guys both for that, Emma, how much do you think that would cost you a month? What do you think?
Probably give or take 800, maybe to 1200, 8 to 1200.
Okay, so if I could show you something that was way less than that, that would probably be pretty amazing, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me pull this up and we'll get you going. And you'll get to see because I mean, think about it. What do you pay for just your car insurance right now?
Um, I do, thankfully, because Farm Bureau only charges me 100 a month
Pretty good.
instead of like 300 or 400.
Yeah, I like that. So check this out. Here's even better because here's you and Aaron with like for real, right? No medical check, 300,000 in coverage on each of you. Aaron's is 72 because he's a little bit older and a man. Men make terrible decisions and we don't live as long, so we're a little bit more expensive to cover, right? And here's you for 300,000 with no medical check. Both of these policies are for 35 years. The price today is the price at the end. It's called a level term life insurance policy. And the whopping grand total for both of you together is 126 bucks.
Now that's an affordable deal.
That's pretty crazy, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So here, let me draw you a picture really fast so you get an idea of what the application process looks like because I like clients to know what's going on, right? Because Emma, have you ever applied for anything in the past?
Um, I've applied for like medical insurance. I don't know for and we have any folks from Tennessee here, not just me.
Oh, like what
I've
about like a
applied-
job or school? Have you applied for that before?
currently actually trying to apply for community college.
Okay.
So,
So yeah, perfect. So when you
um,
apply for the college though, do they have to accept you?
no, they don't.
They do not, right? Because it's just an application, right? So we call this an A diagram because this is A for application. And you said you just bought your first house, right?
Yep.
Perfect. So you understand escrow. You know what an escrow account is. Yeah. So when we submit the application, Emma, that very first payment for both of you guys is going to go into sort of like an escrow account. And the cool thing about that is that as soon as that money comes out, you and Aaron both get 300,000 of conditional coverage automatically.
That's
That
awesome.
that means that like God forbid something happened to you or to Aaron, we're sending somebody a check for 300 grand, we're keeping some of this, but that's a pretty fair trade, right?
It is.
Yeah, but that's conditional coverage. And so it's April, we're going into May, and then maybe even June, because I have no idea how long it's going to take for underwriting to approve your life insurance policy. But the cool thing, Emma, is that it's the middle of April. Even if we submit the policy today and it doesn't get approved until June, you don't make another payment. And when that policy gets approved, this money comes out of escrow and it's going to pay it into the whole next billing cycle. So, like, if your policy didn't get approved until June, your next payment wouldn't be until July.
No, that's
That's crazy.
that's phenomenal.
I know. And check it out. But you've been covered all the rest of the way through April and then all the way through May. And then you're still covered in June because your policy just issued. Now, what could happen? Well, it's an application, so we can tell you no, or we can tell you yes. It's pretty simple, right? And so if I tell you no, well, not me, I would never tell you no, right? But if for some reason you get declined, well, we're going to send you a letter and we're going to send you all the money back that you submitted with the application. Is that fair?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's no risk, right? There's no risk in submitting an application, right? Conversely, though, if we tell you yes, well, good, that's a good thing. We should tell you yes. And so if we tell you yes, then this money comes out of escrow, your policy issues, we go back through the entire thing. Okay. So here's some more stuff about the life insurance, Emma, that we didn't even talk about yet. So inside of the policy, we have a couple of things. One's called the terminal illness benefit. Like right now, Emma, if you got super sick and a doctor told you you had like 6 months to live, do you have a couple $100,000 that you can access?
No.
Well, now you do, right? Because you have a $300,000 policy. With our terminal illness benefit, you can access 70% of the policy in cash if you had a terminal illness. So, Emma, that's 210 grand that you guys can tap into right now. It's your money. You want it now. You got to have doctor's notes. I mean, you had to get some bad news to get it, but that's still over 200 grand that you could access. Go pay for medical bills, do whatever you need, right? Because most people think, Emma, you get really, really sick and die, and that's terrible. Well, yeah, but if you get really, really sick and keep living, your health is going down, your bills are going up, but your money is also going down, right? Yeah. So having this to be able to access is amazing. We also have what's called an IBR. It's called an increasing benefit rider. Do you remember how your 4,000 right now is going to take like 14,000 later because of inflation, right? That increasing benefit rider, every year that you keep your policy, you add an extra 10% of coverage for like pennies automatically. You don't have to qualify for it. Even if you have that terminal illness, you would still get it if it was on your policy. So 10 years from now, your policy is actually going to be worth 600 grand, and that extra 300,000 in coverage is going to be cheaper than the first one. Crazy, right?
That is, gee,
Yeah.
I wish I would have had that for my dad.
A lot of people do. A lot of people do. Now, Emma, I know this looks like a really bad football play, right? Like there's a lot going on. I get it. I know. But like any questions right now?
A lot of this is just making sense because it's being broken down to little by little.
Yeah, no, I love that. So what I'd like to do tonight, I'd love to just apply and see how it comes back. Does that sound good?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Who do you want your beneficiary to be?
I am my partner, Aaron.
Okay. Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, I assume, but like I didn't want to, you never know.
No, you're good.
All right. Scene, right? Guys, that's the end. I'm going to stop the recording. That way it's a little bit shorter. So